Hi and welcome. Hi and happy Friday. Yeah. Just as a check-in, coming here and making it into today's recording was a bit messy. Changed my outfit because it was not working. But the joys of content creation. Hi there and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a sound check. So hi there and welcome to my YouTube channel. The name is Gorata.Selaledi. So excited to be here today on another beautiful Friday evening. How was your week? In the first video we did a breathing exercise, and I think just to center myself, noting how messy it was to get here, let's do 3 wholesome deep breaths. Yeah, I think the first one was rushed, but by the time I got to the third one, I caught it. I hope you caught it too. If you had a hard week, just wishing and praying that God gives you peace concerning your situation. If you had a great week, we praise the Lord for He's getting glorified, or He's being glorified in your life. Thank God for that. And if you just had a mellow week, an okay week, we thank God that you were able to wake up, your heart is beating, your legs are working, all the systems in your body they're working as they should. So we praise the Lord even for the mellowness that you may have experienced this week, wherever you are on this scale. But welcome to my channel. The name is Gorata.Selaledi. I'm so excited to be here. Something I was thinking about even as I was setting up today is the fact that, the beauty that lives in process, or in trusting the process, if I was to say that things will work out. So when I started using this mic, and for context, my husband got me this mic while we were still, I'll say, courting each other, while we were still boyfriend and girlfriend. And I was using this exact mic for my podcasting, right? I love singing. So he got me this for that specific purpose. But then I decided to use it for my channel. And finally, I figured out how to actually have it with me here. And I'm excited for it because my sound will be crispy. There won't be any, interruptions from me moving the mic. So I think that's my check-in. That's my check-in for today. Maybe pause this video since, it's Big Sister Diaries, and it's, I'd say, compassionate connection to ourselves in terms of where we are, where we've been, just reflecting on what you can actually find that you can be grateful for in your life, right? So for me, that was my check-in. I'm grateful that we've arrived here. It gives me freedom to actually even, do other things with my hands. But yeah. So welcome to today's video. Today we're talking about something that I'd say a scary reality for most of us. I think probably when I was young, I was terrified at the thought of it. But today we are going to be learning, learning together. But then I'd want for you to take, today's conversation very seriously, talking to you as a big sister, as a little sister, as an age mate, wherever you are in the spectrum. The conversation today is aimed at, having you wake up or come to an awareness of yourself, right? Whatever your faith, I believe that each and every one of us is created with a very big purpose, but you'd find because life happens, we get stuck in routine, we get stuck in habits that actually just mute our existence, in a sense. I'll put it as such, where we're no longer striving for anything. We are no longer hoping. I'd say we're living hopelessly. In as much as we wake up, we live out our day, but you'd find that if you were to really uncover the driving motivation, or when you woke up, what was the energy, you'd find that there is a lack of hope, right? And today we are really just going to be reflecting. I will be reflecting on camera. Reflecting on camera on my mic. I saw a TikTok, by the way, before we jump into it. It's Big Sister Chats. It's a couch conversation. So I saw a TikTok that said, these podcast mics, this mic over here need to be taken away because people be sharing their thoughts left, right, and center. I truly, honestly don't mind it because I think it's people sharing their reality, their understanding, where they're at. And I think you'd find when you follow people's journeys or follow creator journeys, what I've loved to see is just the growth in understanding or awareness as they continue on that journey. So, hey, leave us with our mics. So, moving into... I rambled on there, but just a light moment, right? I'm not even sure if I introduced myself, so I'm just going to throw it in before we start the actual chat. My name is Gorata. I am Gorata.Selaledi. I am a faith-based content creator and coach, and I seek to bring a bit of light and love into this platform by creating content that is centered around of my personal faith journey and eternal learning when it comes to understanding God, who I am, and why He's brought me into this planet, and also creating a platform, I guess, for each and every one of us to get closer to a place where we can operate seamlessly. Imagine an OS on a laptop, how seamless it operates. So I create coaching programs that are targeted at helping you get to that place where the way you operate and the way you show up is so seamless that you don't even have to think about it, so that you can actually arrive and get to that place where you are now actually, in, I'd say, the fullness of what God has created to be. You're not striving, but you are showing up fully, right? So let's jump into the video, right? I don't know what the title is going to look like to this video, but I wanted to title it "You Will Die One Day," right? And I felt like, it's too scary. But it is a reality that each and every one of us live with. If you are mortal, I don't know if there are any mortals living among us. But if you are mortal, there is a timer. There will be a day that you will die. And I was actually thinking about it the other day to then, I'd say, think about how just the reality of it, right? Either when you go to, we call them merapelo, when you go for memorial service and you hear people recounting the life of the person who has passed. Either you go to the actual funeral where the person is being put down into the ground, or you hear of someone else passing, whatever it is, however close the conversation around death is. Today, I really want us to get to that place where we are able to unpack how it can actually bring us to a place of, I'd say, awareness. That was the word that was in my heart even as I was preparing for this episode. So awareness, and also I'd say a level of intentionality and being very deliberate about how we show up each and every day, right? So the thought that I had, I digressed so terribly. If you're new here, please click on that subscription button for all the rambles, right? But the thought that I had caught, I was reversing and I was going to work and I was like, Kori, what if, like, God forbid, obviously, but what if, as I reverse out of this yard, this is the last time I will ever set foot in this place, right? And what triggered me, I was leaving and I hooted and sent a heart emoji to my little sister, right? And I'm like, oh my God, what if that was the last memory that she had of me? What if I died that day? I didn't. We're here. We're still together. and we thank God for that. And I think the prayer will always be for God to sustain us and give us more life. Like for me, from my lips to God's ears, I want to live until I'm 97. That's the number, 97. And I told my husband, he is going to live until he's 97. We're going to die in each other's arms, just like in the Notebook. Little bit. Nothing hectic. No floods, no nothing. And the robots will probably take our bodies and put them wherever, because it's a long time from here, right? But thinking about just how, I'd say thinking how sobering, that's the word, right? How sobering the thought of death is, right? So I want to read an article that I found, and I heard about this years ago, and I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, that's actually such an interesting way to think about this scary thing that we call death, right? Or I'd say just the process of dying and not being here anymore, right? Very scary. So I decided or settled on an article from bbc.com. It's titled Bhutan's Dark Secret to Happiness. It's written by Eric Weiner. I hope I'm saying it properly. But long and short, before I get into the article, is how in Bhutan they actually reflect on death for a few minutes each day, right? So reflect on, I guess in this case, it's really just thinking if today was my last day, right? And really reflect to say, have I done all that I have? Have I loved as each and every person I've been connected to as much as I should have? You know, you always know deep in your gut, you're not loving the people in your life, right? I don't know if that's you, but I have my moments. And in those moments, I actually track back and I'm like, let me fix that, right? Because we have time, and that's an opportunity that you get even as you reflect on your last days. Am I going to read the whole article? Let me just find somewhere to start, right? Okay, so I think I'm gonna read it very quickly. Let's just call this an English lesson, right? But I'll also link it in the description box, right? So I think once I get to a place where I'm happy, we'll proceed and just conclude, I'd say, our reflection for today's video, right? I like how it's coming together. I hope you are too. So, reading in your hearing, citizens of one of the happiest countries on earth are surprisingly comfortable contemplating a topic many prefer to avoid. Is that the key to joy? On a visit to Thimphu, the capital of Bhutan, I found myself sitting across from a man named Kama Ura, spilling my guts. Maybe it was the fact that he was named Kama, or the thin air, or the way travel melts my defenses, but I decided to confess something very personal. Not that long before, seemingly out of the blue, I'd experienced some disturbing symptoms. Shortness of breath, dizziness, numbness in my hands and feet. He is going through it. At first, I feared I was having a heart attack or going crazy. Maybe both. So I went to the doctor, who ran a series of tests and found nothing. Said Ura. Even before I could complete my sentence, he knew that my fears were unfounded. I was not dying, at least not as quickly as I feared. I was having a panic attack. What I wanted to know was why now my life was going uncharacteristically well, and what I could do about it. I'm not sure if I read that well. Let me read it, okay? What I wanted to know was why now my life was going uncharacteristically well, and what I could do about it. Oh, okay, he's having this panic attack when everything seems to be okay. Yay! Very relatable. You need to think about death for 5 minutes every day. Ura replied. It'll cure you. How? I said, dumbfounded. It is this thing, this fear of death, this fear of dying before we have accomplished what we want or seen our children grow. This is what is troubling you. But why would I want to think about something so depressing? Rich people in the West, they have not touched dead bodies, fresh wounds, or rotten things. This is a problem. This is the human condition. We have to be ready for the moment we cease to exist. Hectic! Places, like people, have a way of surprising us, provided we are open to the possibility of surprise and not weighed down with preconceived notions. The Himalayan kingdom is best known for its innovative policy of gross national happiness. It's a land where contentment supposedly reigns and sorrow is denied entry. Bhutan is indeed a special place. It's spelled Bhutan. And Yura, the director of the Center of Bhutan Studies, a special person. But that specialness is more nuanced and frankly less sunny and than dreamy Shangri-La image we project onto it, right? Actually, by suggesting I think about death once a day, Ura was going easy on me. In Bhutanese culture, one is expected to think about death 5 times a day. That would be remarkable for any nation, but especially for one so closely equated with happiness as Bhutan. Is this secretly a land of darkness and despair? Not necessarily. Some recent research suggests that by thinking about death so often, the Bhutanese may be onto something. In a 2007 study, University of Kentucky psychologists Nathan DeWall and Roy I murdered the surname, divided several dozen students into 2 groups. One group was told to think about a painful visit to the dentist, while the other group was instructed to contemplate their own death. Hectic. Both groups were then asked to complete STEM words, such as J-O-. The second group, one that had been thinking about death, was far more likely to construct positive words such as joy. This led to researchers to conclude that death is a psychologically threatening fact, but when people contemplate it, apparently the automatic system begins to search for happy thoughts. None of this, I'm sure, would have surprised Ira or any other Bhutanese. They know that death is a part of life, whether we like it or not, and ignoring this essential truth comes with a heavy psychological cost. I'll just stop here and I'll make sure to actually copy and put it in my notes so that I don't forget. Where are they? Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I'm just gonna stop the article here and really just come back into the chit chat to I guess maybe just share a story time of a time where I almost died twice. I mean, the first time it wasn't too hectic, but I remember this was the same year in 2019. I got my first car around March, and then in July I got into an accident. So someone hit on the passenger side, rammed into the wheel, broke the axle, and the sound was so terrifying. So broken emotionally, physically, I was fine. And then because my car was in the repair shop or at the mechanic, I had to use combis. And not long after, the following month in August of 2019, this girlie gets into a combi. We get a bang. I'm making my way home. And this combi guy is speeding with us in the combi. Guys, speeding, my guy. Where are you speeding to? There's no pregnant woman in here whose water has broken. There's literally no reason for this man to be speeding, but no, he's speeding. And as he's switching lanes from the fast lane into the slower lane, I guess, someone nicks him at the back, like literally, probably not even that much, nicked the combi, and the combi flipped, right? Combi flips, everybody is screaming. And in that moment, funny enough, just to recount it, thinking about it now, I'm holding on to my handbag like this. My eyes are closed, and the one thing that I'm saying, I'm just whispering under my breath, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. That's all. 2 words. That was my prayer. It's like, don't die. So the combi is sliding, people are screaming, and in that combi accident, 2 people unfortunately died. The person who was sitting right by the door and the person who was sitting in the front. So as the combi is sliding, literally scraping them on the tarmac. And I was sitting, I'd say, on the second seat of once you open the door, and I was sitting next to some man. So it was 4 of us. And as this action is happening, we're squishing each other. So we're all covering each other. I don't know where they are, but we all came out of that so traumatized. So the combi stops, and people are now running out of the combi, and I'm like frozen, literally just standing. The combi, this is a minibus, just for context for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about this whole time, but a minibus, so it's fallen over this way, and I'm just standing there paralyzed, right? And they're trying to turn it, I'm still there. I'm like, wait, let me get out, right? Obviously screaming. And as I get out of this wreck, or this wreckage, because now there's blood everywhere, scary scenario, and I'm standing there, and I realize that, wait a minute, I have literally just a scratch. It wasn't even that big. I don't even have a scar from it, but literally just a scratch. But I'm traumatized. So I call my boyfriend, my now husband. I call my uncle. I'm like, yo, been a terrible accident. Come now, right? When they arrive, they're arriving to this wreckage, and they're probably terrified to say, this gal, is she okay, right? And fortunately, I was okay, but I was actually getting cold, right? In that moment, my body's getting super cold. I'm like, something has been raptured inside of me, and I'm going to die, right? So the ambulance rushes us over to the hospital. Get to the hospital, I get scanned, and they find that 2, if not 3 of my ribs were fractured. Scary, so scary. Something funny though, that as we're at the hospital I was thinking about, was something that I had heard, I'd say probably a few years before, how someone was always saying, when you leave home, make sure you're wearing the best undies and I'd say proper socks if you are a person wearing socks, because when push comes to shove and you have to take all your clothes at the hospital, ma'am, right? And I don't know why, but I remember specifically on that day, I thought about that thought, and I'm like, good choices. But in thinking about death, I think, not even sure if the story is relatable or not, but I think just coming into how I came out of that moment, right? The one thing I was thinking about was, what could I have done differently, right? And if I had died that day, what would I have wanted to have done before that moment that I, God willing, I didn't die. But had I died that day, what would I have wanted to do? And I want to ask you that question today. If time and money were not an issue, what would you do? What do you want to do? Right? Because we always set up these, I'd say, mental blockers to say, I don't have money. I don't have the time. But the nice thing, and something that I'll say to you for free as your big sister, or little sister, or sister, wherever I fall in the line of the ages, is just to say that, you can actually accomplish anything that you set your mind to, right? There's no limitation, and I'll explain. And I'd want to encourage you to take my coaching programs. We're going to be here for a while, every Monday, to actually crystallize your thoughts on how you can actually move from the dream that you have for your life and getting to that place where it actually becomes a reality, right? We can actually accomplish each and every single thing that we put our minds to. Good, if you've seen Gurizi do it, start this channel. You can actually do it too. The quote that actually popped into my mind now is to say, the only fear that we have is the fear of fear itself. I'm going to Google it, because Google, right? But I think the essence of today's video, while I am Googling, is just then to bring you to that realization that the more you actually think about the fact that we have a limited time. I was going to say we don't have time, but we have limited time. Let me focus. The fear of fear itself. Okay, wait. Ooh. No, let me say quote. I'm a Google queen. Quote. Oh yes, there you go. You see, Google is our friend. Assuming the presidency at the depth of the Great Depression, Franklin D. Roosevelt helped the American people regain faith in themselves. He brought hope as he promised prompt, vigorous action, and asserted in his inaugural address. He said, I quote, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Right? So maybe, I don't know where you are in your life currently at this moment in time, but I'd want to sit here and encourage you to take time to really just reflect on that scary reality, to say that if today was your last day, what would you do? Right? If I was to give you $1 million tomorrow, what were you going to do with it? Hopefully you won't be like those people and I blew it. But now, just thinking about it seriously, what would you do? Right? Maybe you want to buy your mom a house, right? You can actually sit down and think, but Kante, a house needs a plot of land. Maybe I can apply for a plot of land, and in a few years I'll start buying cement, build the foundation. In 5 years you're able to accomplish that dream, right? So in taking time to actually think about that reality, the fact that we have limited time is a sobering thought, is a sobering reflection to actually get you to a place where you are now living your life differently. So in the next coming week, into this weekend, into the coming week, I would want to challenge us to take time to reflect, not on death, because it's a bit scary, the fact that we're learning about it today for the first time, not on death, but thinking about your life, right, for 5 minutes each day. And I'd want to, just as a, I'd say, impromptu prompt for us to really think about, why am I here, right? Why am I here? What is my story? What do I want out of this life thing, right? If it's a pair of sambas, write it down. For that 5 minutes, I want you to really think about it, to say, what do I want? What do I want from this life thing? Why do I believe I was created? What is my story? What is my legacy? What do I want to leave on this earth if, God forbid, today was my last day? Right? So I'm just going to stop our conversation here. It has been amazing, the fact that I was able to actually complete the conversation is exciting. And I think, just as a checkout, something I was thinking about, I wanted to do a whole chat around sexual purity, and it was so cringe. Like, this is a checkout. We're done with the video. So if you want to sign out, you can do it now. But just as a checkout, I did a whole video on like sexual purity, and the energy was not energying. I was not arriving at the mindset I had in terms of preparing the video, and I decided to scrap it. So this is a re-recording, right? And I think truly, when thinking about it, I'm like, but is this the conversation that we want to have? And I think especially the fact that, I think just for faith, like understanding my faith journey, I'd really say it's something that at different points in our time, in our lives, we will be convicted, I'd say, by the Holy Spirit in how to arrive at it. But one day I will arrive at being able to talk about it without cringing, right? Talk about it without cringing. So I want to just take this time to thank you for watching this video. It's been 28 minutes, 28 wholesome minutes. I don't know why I did that, but too much Tyler on TikTok. But thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. I just want to pray that may God's favor locate you and may His grace sustain you as you navigate this life thing. This is just a reminder that God is with you, even now. So whatever you need, I want to encourage you to say that simple prayer. For me, in that combi accident, the prayer was, don't die. Literally, right? The other day I prayed, Jesus, help. And He literally came through. I was knocking off at 5 and He came through at 4:57. He came through. So I want to challenge you to say the shortest prayer. God is listening. Try it. Just try it and leave it in the comment whenever you see that turnaround, because His turnaround time is very, very fast. So I'm rambling right now, rambling into a finish. But thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you for stopping by, and if you are new here, please do click on that subscription button, click on that notification bell so that you're notified when new videos come out. New videos every Sunday, Monday, and Friday. I am Gorata.Selaledi. Thank you so much. Be blessed. It's goodbye from me.